One second. Hello everyone. Happy Monday. Welcome back into the KCTV5 Plus streaming desk. I'm Katie Byrd. I hope you all are staying warm out there and that you've recovered from the icebox that we have been in. I mean, I guess it's still continuing, but at least the roads are better than they were. I know we've had a lot of school closures today. Don't think that'll be the case tomorrow. We've also had a lot of flight cancellations at the airport. I'll get into that later. Want to start out with a Kansas City police investigation. This is of a deadly shooting, and it turned out to be an apparent murder-suicide. You're taking scene footage that KCTV5 crew members took earlier today. 22-year-old Yasmin Herrera and 21-year-old Victor Campos were found dead yesterday in this apartment complex off of 42nd. And officers say when they arrived to the scene, they heard a gunshot from inside, rushed in, and found both of these victims dead. No further information has been released on this, but we will continue to track this on the KCTV5 News app. And next up, giving you guys a little bit of a preview on what you can expect in your KCTV5 News at 10. A Kansas City mom charged in her 5-year-old son's death is heading to prison for a decade. Today, Corinne O'Connor, she pleaded guilty, and this charge stems from the November 2023 death of Grayson O'Connor. Investigators say that 5-year-old Grayson fell from a 17th floor window at the Grand Boulevard lofts. You can see court hearing footage of Corinne right now on your screen. 5-year-old Connor's body was found on the ground below. Records say that O'Connor removed a safety device that would have prevented her son Grayson from opening the window all the way. Now, going on, I want to give you guys a couple more updates in this. A police statement filed in court said that his body was found by a resident walking out a basement door. They say the mother, Corinne, did not call 911. This has been winding its way through the courts for more than 2 years, and what she pleaded guilty to today is a lesser crime than what the initial grand jury indictment was. The initial charge was the endangering of the welfare of a child leading to death. You can see Grayson just on your screen moments ago, and that would have brought a minimum of 10 years and up to life for Corinne. However, what she pleaded guilty to today was involuntary manslaughter. That brings a maximum of 10 years. And that plea stipulates that she will serve, again, 10 years. And our reporter, Betsy Webster, is on this story, and she's working to get more answers in what led to today's plea and to reach people close to Grayson for his reaction. You're going to find more on that on your KCTV5 News at 10. That'll be, again, just in an hour and a half now. And you guys, of course, we're all still recovering from yesterday's first warn weather day. If you were tuning in on the stream, then you probably saw me, Mike Nico, and meteorologist Corey Kowitz. We were continuing to keep you guys updated for hours. I've got to say, it's Corey's first week doing the weather here in Kansas City. He was previously a meteorologist in Tucson, so he's definitely getting a taste of Missouri's weather. Obviously, we've had multiple tornado warnings in the metro throughout the past couple of weeks, and then yesterday's wind and snow turned to icy road conditions. We tracked quite a few crashes as well in the metro. These were around midnight, 11 p.m. once that water on the road started to freeze. I do want to give you guys an update too on what's going on at Kansas City International Airport. There's a lot less cancellations and delays than there were yesterday at this time. I know it caused a bit of chaos. We've had multiple crews out there. So as of FlightAware this afternoon, there were 82 cancellations out of MCI within the past 24 hours. But nationwide, you guys, it's a lot more chaotic. Almost 5,000 cancellations today. And of course, many schools closed their doors as well. I think one of the first ones was Excelsior Springs School District, Kansas City Public Schools, Liberty, Kearney, but then a lot of schools also had spring break, but they weren't planning on getting a snow day this late in the year. Anyhow, I want to talk to you guys a little bit more about flight disruptions. So this is what the lines looked like today for TSA in Atlanta. Obviously, there's weather impacts throughout the country impacting millions of travelers, and take that into account with the partial government shutdown that's currently impacting the Department of Homeland Security. You guys, TSA agents are not getting paid and they're quitting. I mean, who can blame them? But it's causing a big headache here at the airports. I know we got footage from countless airports. Obviously, the Atlanta airport is a huge international hub, so that's why I chose this video. But again, my best advice for you guys, if you are trying to leave this city this week, is to check flykci.com. They have all your departures, all your arrivals. Again, don't want to be stuck in a sticky situation out there for sure. Next, I want to take you guys to a little World Cup funding update. Obviously, the countdown is on, and Kansas City is one of the cities that got a big lump of money from the government. Finally, the federal government has begun releasing the safety funding. Here in Kansas City, we got $59 million, and this is a part of the $625 nationwide that the cities are receiving. Now, KCTV5 reporter Zach Fisher sat down with local law enforcement to learn just how this funding is going to help keep us and all of our visitors safe this summer. Let's take it over to him now.
In the Crossroads, business owner Philippe Lechevan has seen the World Cup up close 3 times. He knows what an international event looks and feels like and what Kansas City's about to find out.
I think it's very hard to gauge of what to expect here in Kansas City.
For anyone planning to attend a match or simply living in Kansas City this summer, $59 million federal dollars will help determine what that experience looks like. The federal government has officially begun releasing World Cup security funding to host cities, money agencies will use for planning and equipment. There's no set timeline yet for when agencies will actually see those dollars, but the process is now officially in motion. The impact crosses the state line. KCKPD expects to receive $1 to $2 million of that $59 million. That money covers costs that add up quickly: overtime, staffing, and specialized security for Argentina's base camp.
Really, we're going to have the opportunity, one, to have a safe event, and that the money is coming, so we're able to pay for those security necessities to make this a safe event. So we're pretty excited about the funding being released.
Chief Oakman says KCKPD will use the money for safety and security operations. The largest share covers match sites and fan fests on Missouri's side, but agencies will also secure base camps and team hotels.
Are you ready? I think we're never ready for something we've never experienced, but we're prepared for it.
Back in the Crossroads, Philippe says the city's approach to security planning isn't so different from how he runs a big event at his own restaurant. You organize first and spend the money when it arrives.
We know we're going to have a big party, but we're going to have the fun right now to get everything ready, but we get organized to just get it together, and then when money come in, then we just roll it out. So hopefully that's what the city and anybody who's doing the safety is going to do.
And the funding is on its way, with the timeline of it being unclear. Agencies say that the $59 million has been planned for well in advance to keep visitors and those who call Kansas City home safe. In the Crossroads, Zach Fisher, KCTV5 News.
And again, you just heard from KCK Police Chief Carl Oakman. I like what he said about the World Cup. You can never be ready for something you haven't experienced, but we are prepared. I bet a lot of people feel like him as we continue to prep for this unprecedented amount of people coming to the city. If you want to know more about the funding aspect of World Cup and safety, we're actually going to play that full interview with Police Chief Oakman here in about a half an hour after I give you guys a rundown of what else is happening in our city. Today, I want to take it next to Lee's Summit. You may have already heard an officer was injured a couple of days ago after a woman who's suspected of shoplifting dragged him with her car in a parking lot. This was right off of Northwest Chipman Road. Again, this is according to Lee Summit Police. Now, KCTV5's Morgan Rydell spoke with some local employees at nearby shops to kind of see how they're feeling after hearing this news. I want to take it over to her next.
I'm still in like disbelief.
Jalen Reed works across the parking lot at Johnson Fitness and Wellness. His shock, that an officer was injured just outside his doors Saturday.
Kind of scary to know that like somebody's out there that have done that, like kind of just, they don't really care. I would say about, you know, obviously like somebody's life. It's a little scary knowing that now.
According to Lee's Summit Police, they got the call while the suspect was here at Target shoplifting. She then got in her car and went here to Best Buy, where officers located her. In an attempt to arrest her, she reversed her vehicle at a high rate of speed, injuring that officer.
Never really heard anything like that.
Police say they know who the woman is, but have not yet released her identity. While Reed was shocked about the incident outside his window, he's not shocked to hear about shoplifting.
A couple of like people stealing from like TJ Maxx or something from Target.
Even more than that, police have received 19 shoplifting calls to this shopping center since New Year's Day. Employees like Reed are asking customers to keep an eye out.
Shoppers trying to just kind of, you know, sneak something in or just kind of walk out with whatever. Like I think it's gotten crazy. If you see something, I would say something.
Next up, a federal jury has convicted a Kansas City area rapper of illegally possessing a firearm as a convicted felon. This on your screen is 28-year-old Joseph R. Isaac. You might know him by his stage name. His stage name is Sleazy World Go. Now, federal agents actually started investigating him way back in June of 2022. You guys, this has been almost 4 years. An anonymous tip to the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms led them to more than 30 social media photos showing Sleazy World Go with a firearm. And the ATF and KCPD then investigated it. It led to charges on 2 counts against him, knowingly possessing a machine gun and felony in possession of a firearm. The jury convicted him only the 2nd count. Now, KCTV received a statement from his management team, in part saying that Isaac respects the jury's time and court process. Now, this full statement from Sleazy World Go's management is on our website. And Isaac faces sentencing here in a few months. That will be on June 30th. And again, be sure to come back for updates after that day. And next up, Kansas City. I'm excited for this one. Your next summer concert destination's almost ready. Take a look at this. KCTV went on a hard hat tour today of the Morton Amphitheater over in Riverside. It wraps up its construction here soon, and this morning, again, we got this exclusive look inside the 16,000 person venue. We also spoke with the Blueprint Studio Executive Vice President. His name's John Aarons. Let's take it over to him to see how it's going.
Honestly, no one's seen anything like this globally. We took all the best design ideas of arenas, amphitheaters, and clubs and baked it into the design of this venue to make it world class.
Now, several artists have already announced performances here, including Pitbull, Guns N' Roses, and Weird Al Yankovic. That's not it, though. The list keeps getting better, you guys. Some other big names. We've got Luke Bryan. If you're into country, we have Mumford & Sons, Chris Stapleton, Megan Trainor, Jack Johnson. I had some fun digging into this earlier. Brooks and Dunn, Train, and even 5 Seconds of Summer if you want a little throwback. And concerts span from June 10th all the way until October 23rd. Thomas Rhett, the world-renowned country artist, he is currently listed as the artist wrapping up this season, but they're always adding new things, so who really knows? Now, again, this amphitheater is in Riverside near KC Currents, CPKC Stadium. Couldn't think of more perfect timing. Obviously, I think they had this planned to coincide with the World Cup, but it's great to see the riverfront finally coming to life. Taking it over to Jay Rieger. You guys, look at this footage. A dog is safe tonight after a rooftop rescue at a local distillery. It happened at J. Rieger and Company. It was all caught on camera. You guys, take a look at this poor pup. Here's that shocking video. You can see the dog suddenly land on the tent overnight. And if you look closely, you can see the dog's shadow before it lands, and he bounces up, appears to be confused, and just starts to pace around. And it wasn't until the next day, with the help of staff at J. Rieger and the city's animal services, they were able to get him down. That poor dog was stranded overnight, but he was safely rescued. And we actually spoke with hospitality manager Susan Stone Lee. She was there, and she says he's very grateful the dog landed where he did.
We love dogs here. We're very supportive of the idea of dogs being a part of the larger family. And so in a way, he landed literally and figuratively in the best possible spot. Had he literally landed 25 feet to the south, we could have a very different story on our hands.
And now, if you've been looking for a new best friend, this dog is open up for adoption right now at KC Pet Project. I'm not going to lie to you guys. After the coverage today, I have a feeling he's going to be adopted very quickly, and I bet you can guess what his name is. It's Rieger, named after the place he was rescued. Couldn't think of something more fitting, honestly. And I just want to say that if you're in the tough spot of needing to give up your pet, we're definitely raising awareness on that today after this video. And the CEO shared some helpful tips on the best way to surrender your dog. You can find that on the KCTV5 website. Taking it next to a local high school, we started covering their theater department last week. They went from empty seats to standing ovations. One picture changed the fortune for one Kansas City high school. All it took was one post from Ruskin's Theater about the disappointment. This was after only 5 people showed up to their opening night of the school play. Now, that post on social media even got our attention here at KCTV, as well as the community support. After our story aired on Friday night, more than 200 people showed up for the show. Now, we also sat down with the theater director. His name's Peyton Dishman. He says Thursday's low attendance broke his heart. His students spend 8 weeks preparing for a show. And senior Desmond Walker III told us on Friday that the audience is a critical participant to a theater production. And he says that they were missing that piece. So when they made the social media post, the show went on, this time with a full crowd. By Saturday's finale, people filled out the auditorium and cheered on their students during their moment in the spotlight. I want to take it over to their theater director now.
We as art and we as artists thrive on community support. And we can't thrive unless we have community support. So I urge people, look up your local high school, your local middle school, check out their fine arts departments, go to the theater productions, the choir concerts, the orchestra concerts, the band concerts. Even if you don't know someone, believe me, that support means the world to those kids.
Peyton actually works with 25 high schools as a part of the CAPIES program. This is to promote art programs throughout the Measure Arts programs, And if you're looking for something fun, you guys, next up here, although we've had a whole weekend of festivities, the St. Patrick's Day cheer is just getting started. Westport is having their annual parade. If you didn't have a chance to get out to Snake Saturday in the North Kansas City, you can head out here. I'm going to break down what you need to know ahead of tomorrow's parade. So this year's theme is Irish Kicks in 26, a celebration of sport. It's a nod to the World Cup coming to Kansas City, as well as Ireland's long tradition of athletics. And the route rolls right through Midtown, starting at Linwood and Broadway, heading south to 43rd Street in Westport. Now, organizers say bundle up and plan ahead, and that is including where to park and where to stand along the route. We also spoke with one of the organizers. Her name's Erin Gabert, to get a closer look at what to expect tomorrow.
We just hope that anybody who comes down to the parade walks away feeling joyful and happy. It's a tough time we're living in these days. And so if we can bring a little joy to people, then that's what we want to do. Whether you're Irish or not, everybody's Irish on St. Patrick's Day.
I love that. She says everybody's Irish on St. Patrick's Day. And again, if you guys did not yet hear about Snake Saturday and the exceptional turnout, organizers and judges estimate that 100,000 people packed the streets of North Kansas City. I was there and it was a whole lot of fun. Shout out to everyone who makes this such a great event every year. And it was my first time going to Snake Saturday in a while, and I have to say, I was not expecting the parade to last as long as it did. We were up near the front with the station, but I think there was a good 2 hours worth of performances and floats that made the parade absolutely amazing. So shout out to you guys. And next up, before we wrap up here and go on our ad break, for many foster kids, the basics can, of course, be hard to come by, but One Liberty Rotary Club is aiming to take the steps in providing essential goods. So Jordan Frumstad is sharing the soul that a pair of shoes can bring children not only here in the metro, but around the world. Take a listen.
All interested in serving. We're all interested in making the world a better place.
Service ties communities together.
We do take care of people.
Larry Lunsford always puts his best foot forward.
Well, I can't imagine, life without the opportunity to do something for someone else.
He leads the Missouri Rotary Club district effort to donate shoes.
Was looking for a project that all the Rotary clubs could do together. 25 years is amazing, and I probably could never convey the benefit that a pair of shoes provides to a child who's orphaned or vulnerable.
Larry works with Dallas-based nonprofit Buckner International to get shoes for children in foster care around the world.
To probably about 30 to 35 countries.
Did we mention where Larry's traveled to deliver these shoes?
One to St. Petersburg, Russia. One to Guatemala City, Guatemala.
2 young boys in need, both with the same name.
Victor. That is as powerful to me as I relay that right now.
2 victors and 1 grateful reaction.
Yeah, you would be right about that. You would be right about that. This is going to make a difference for that child.
It means they're going to be healthier.
Rotary District Governor Jody Sundaram sees the impact.
Now they own something.
At some level, it's just the basic human gift from one to another.
It also gives them, I think, a big confidence boost.
It makes them feel important.
Important.
Changes lives.
Lives that matter.
Yes.
This is bigger than a pair of shoes.
Hope laced together through generosity so children can take the next step in their lives.
I'm proud to represent so many unbelievable people that are willing to do this and so much more to make the world a better place.
Jordan Fremstad, KCTV5 News.
Such a heartwarming story. Heart of Kansas City airs every Sunday morning as a part of Kansas City on the Record. And if you have a story idea, we also have an email. You can go to our website to check exactly where to send that if you or someone you know could be featured. Super exciting. All right, guys, we're going to go on a quick ad break. And when we come back, I'll be walking you through what's going on around our country. Thanks so much for tuning in. All right. Welcome back, everyone, to KCTV5 Plus. Thanks for sticking with us. It's almost 9 o'clock here already on your Monday evening. In a little over an hour, you'll have your KCTV5 News at 10. I'm going to give you a rundown of what's going on not only in our country, but around the world today. Obviously, we already went through our local headlines. You can always rewatch that on Facebook and YouTube if you missed it. Taking it first to what's going on right now in Iran. Obviously, we've had multiple weeks of conflict, and the war with Iran pushes into a third week. Now, new strikes are being reported, including in Tehran. Now, Israel says it's planning at least 3 more weeks of its campaign. Obviously, you can see the mass destruction here on your screen. Now, this will be against Iran with, quote, thousands of targets remaining. Again, that is according to Israeli leaders. Now, Israel's military claims it struck more than 200 targets in Iran just over the past day. Now, with the IDF saying operations are taking what it called Iran's ballistic missile capabilities and air defense systems, and Iran's elite revolutionary guards said Israeli fighter jets had targeted Mehrabad Airport. This is the country's busiest air transport hub. Now, of course, we do know the death toll for American soldiers has hit 13. We did get the news the other day of the plane crash where either 6 or 7 U.S. members of the military lost their lives. That's on top of the handful that died the previous week in conflict, many of them being in Kuwait and actually being stationed just north of us a few hours in Des Moines, Iowa. And again, we'll continue to keep you up to date as the conflict in the Middle East continues. Taking it next up to a little bit of oil news for you. So, Energy Secretary Chris White ordered the reopening of an offshore oil operation and pipeline on the West Coast out in California. So, the Santa Ynez unit operates off the coast of Santa Barbara. It's controversial. If you may remember, back in 2015, and the pipeline ruptured and spilled nearly 3,000 barrels into the Pacific Ocean. Wright's order came hours after President Trump invoked the Defense Production Act Friday. Now, California Governor Gavin Newsom said it's illegal because multiple court orders have forbidden restarting the pipeline. The Energy Department says the order will address supply disruption risks and reduce reliance on the foreign oil. Now, according to the Energy Information Administration, the U.S. has been a net exporter of oil since 2019, so for about 7 years now. Taking it next to our gas pumps right here in the United States. It's no surprise they just haven't come down yet. Going to go ahead and break that down a little bit more for you guys. They're entering their third week of steady increases, and as of this morning, the average price of a gallon of gas stood at $3.72. Get your credit cards out, guys. That's the highest price for regular gas since October of 2023. Now, President Trump appealed for several countries over the weekend to help open the Strait of Hormuz. Now, Iran's military has kept the vital waterway virtually closed since strikes there began, and you may or may not know that this strait actually carries through it about 20% of not only our nation's but the world's oil exports, so it's kind of a big deal. Now, so far, no nations are committing warships to help secure this strait, and since the start of the war with Iran, gas prices have surged to 74 cents per gallon. I'm sure many people here are feeling it. I know I sure am. All right, next up, calling all frequent flyers of Southwest Airlines. There's about to be some changes. So the airline's actually announced that it's dropping services to 2 major airports in the United States. Officials said the airline will not serve Washington Dulles International Airport and Chicago O'Hare International Airport. This is starting right before the World Cup on June 4th. Southwest flights booked after June 4th to and from those airports will be canceled. Now, customers can get a refund through the company's website, or on the Southwest app. And employees of those airports will also have an opportunity to bid for open positions in the company. This is according to their officials. And the airliner said it will still have flights to Chicago and the DC area, serving Chicago Midway and Baltimore Washington International and Ronald Reagan. So there are still some backup options for Kansas Cityans who are wanting to get to those cities with that specific airline. Just may have to change those flights a bit. Now, Southwest has had flights at Midway for over 4 decades, and the company said operating at O'Hare has been challenging. Now, this announcement also comes after the FAA met with 2 other airline carriers to discuss reducing flights at O'Hare. Taking it next to something that may have been helpful in recent weeks here in the Midwest, a tornado tracking tool used by FEMA is back up and running. It's a critical mapping program that's used by search and rescue teams nationwide. And take a look at this jaw-dropping tornadic footage. It helps them with a pinpoint of a tornado's path of destruction within minutes of it touching down. And the Federal Emergency Management Agency's contract with Canopy Weather expired in February. Now, Canopy Weather provides the mapping, and an internal request to renew it was reportedly caught up in Homeland Security Kristi Noem's strict spending approval process, leaving rescue teams without the tool. Now, after news coverage on the issue, FEMA contacted Canopy over the weekend to restore this service. And you guys, March is in full swing. You know what that means. March Madness. Brackets for the 2026 tournament are officially set. Now, out of the 68 teams, UConn got the #1 overall seed with a perfect 34-0 record. No surprise there. They have been absolutely killing it this season. UCLA, South Carolina, and Texas are also #1 seeds. And the women's tournament tips off in just a couple days on Wednesday with the first 4, and the first round begins on Friday. Now, the national championship is set to be played in Phoenix on April 5th. Such a fun time of year, and we got baseball right around the corner. There's so much to look forward to, and actually, baseball's already going on with Team USA. I think they're playing the Dominican. Don't quote me on that. I need to do a little more research. And next up, speaking of sports, take a look at these awesome jerseys. Today, U.S. Soccer and Nike unveiled the new uniforms the national teams will wear as our country prepares to host the World Cup this summer. Gotta say, those look pretty sharp. The collection will feature 2 designs, a red and white stripes kit and a dark blue stars kit. And both feature a USA logo on the chest, pretty fitting, and players helped shape the final design, believe it or not, providing input on everything from the fit and breathability to fabric weight and even seam placement. You guys, they really thought of it all here. And for the first time, the same look will be worn by all U.S. soccer national teams. Didn't know that one. And the men's team will debut with the new uniforms in a match against Belgium later this month. Super excited for the World Cup. And right here on the KCTV5 website, we actually have a KC Countdown page where you can find everything from safety to transportation as well as entertainment for this summer. We also have some fun facts about each of the countries that we will have as host cities here. So be sure to check that out. I love going on that site and getting the scoop because it feels like there's so much happening day in and day out to prepare for the World Cup. And a new study finds at least one thing AI isn't very good at. I can name more than one personally, but here's this one. This is diet advice, especially for teenagers. So the study looked at the type of meal plans chatbots are giving young people who are asking it to lose weight. Researchers found AI-generated tips resulted in 700 fewer calories per day than what real-life dietitians would recommend someone. Now, chatbots also recommended meal plans with too few calories and carbs and too much protein and fat. Inadequate nutrition, of course, is dangerous, especially to teens since they're still growing. Now, this study, if you want to learn more, it was published last week on Thursday. This was on the journal Frontiers in nutrition. I don't think I will ever go to AI for diet advice, especially after learning this bit of information. Taking it next, you guys. Believe it or not, you probably already know St. Patrick's Day is tomorrow. I feel like we've been having festivities for so long now. The day is finally here, and everyone can tap into the luck of the Irish. Now, many cities celebrate the patron saint of Ireland with all things green, including this one. From green rivers to green beer, never had that. The holiday is associated with happy revelers across our country. There's some footage of the Chicago River being dyed green over the weekend. I recently learned it takes only 45 minutes to dye that river. Pretty crazy. Now, perhaps the affinity for the holiday comes from more than 30 million residents who claim Irish ancestry. And if you weren't able to come out to Snake Saturday this weekend, or maybe you haven't gotten your year's worth of Irish festivities, Westport is having their parade tomorrow. Looks to be a little cold, but it will be a whole lot of fun and plenty of places around there to go in and stay warm. And again, we did speak with some organizers. We did cover that already on the stream, but in case you missed it, you can find that right now on KCTV5.com. All right, guys, going on a quick break. When we come back, we are going to be taking a deeper look at the safety funding for the World Cup this summer. Until then, here's a beautiful look over the Kansas City skyline. Be back soon. All right. Well, you may have already heard Kansas City has received our fair share of World Cup safety funding from the federal government. Today, a crew went out to speak with local law enforcement officials to see just how it's going to benefit our community members. Taking it next to KCK Police Chief Carl Oakman with more on what they're going to be doing with the money. Take a listen.
We appreciate your time today. Last Friday, Congressman the Congressman Alford had released that DHS is now releasing these funds for World Cup security funding. We've been kind of following it over the last couple months. $59 million supposed to be coming out in January, but it was just being held up by the DHS. What came to mind when you heard the news that funding was finally going to be released? We're 3 months ahead of the World Cup first match now. What came to your mind when you're like, okay, it's released now?
Well, really we're going to have the opportunity, to have a safe event, and that the money is coming, so we're able to pay for those security necessities to make this a safe event. So we're pretty excited about the funding being released, and I know on the Missouri side and our two U.S. senators, Marshall and Moran, I kind of met with them personally, so I think they really looked after Kansas, and we really appreciate that.
What do you think people overlook, have oversighted? Because, you know, we've been doing a lot of reporting about, like, the KCMO Police Department. Here's where they're getting. I know you guys have applied for, you know, the counter drone technology as well, that federal grants. What are some aspects you think are being overlooked, I guess, for KCK's role in being able to help out with security for the World Cup?
Well, I think initially I felt, and like I said, this was my feeling. I can't say that was the fact, but that we were kind of overlooked, and I think that as you do with anything, planning is done in advance, and I think no one really considered the amount of attention, security, and other issues that Argentina would bring to Kansas City, Kansas. And we got Argentina as a base camp. So I think when you look at base camps, I don't think they're all created equal. You have a team that's going to bring a lot of people, one of the top soccer teams in the world, which will result in more security that's needed. And I think that aspect was, I wouldn't say overlooked, but not known at the time.
Now, just the basic, this light tie too? Yeah. Okay, so the reigning World Cup world champions that are coming to town, of that $59 million that's coming down to Kansas City for the World Cup, is there like an idea or an expectation of how much KCK is going to be getting with that big base camp that's going to be here?
Well, we have a big base camp, but then you have Kansas City, Missouri that has the 6 games and the Fan Fest. We have, although Sporting will be having watch parties in that area that the base camp is in, there's a lot of people. The need will be great. I can't really say exactly how much is going to KCK, but we're going to be fighting to make sure we get our fair share, to make sure that we keep the base camp safe as well as our city.
So you just got to have like an understanding with the KCTV Police Department of you're going to be getting some of those resources, or maybe a split of that for security needs on your guys.
Yeah, we'll get every base camp will get a portion. We just want to make sure it's a fair portion, and we've been guaranteed that. We've had extensive talks with KC 2026 the last week, and I think we feel very confident after actually meeting with them that the money's going to be fairly allocated to support our needs in KCK.
What other, what challenges come when there is a base camp here? It is, leading the games are going to be happening on the Missouri side of the border, but we talked about, the countering unmanned drone technology, that federal grant that was applied for back in the fall. What are some other aspects that specifically related to that base camp that people might just not think of that the police department might need help for just a beef and resources?
Yeah, well, when you talk about increased traffic, increased walking, pedestrian traffic, and the fact that Sporting KC, the stadium, is a couple minutes from the base camp, which creates a bigger issue because we're going to have teams potentially practicing at Sporting while we have Argentina practicing at Compass Mineral, which is a few minutes away. And then the schedule. A lot of times, unlike in policing, we like to do stuff in advance. We like to know your schedule, all of that. And with the World Cup and the teams, we're kind of at the mercy of the team giving us that information when they give us that information. So that's something that we have to get used to because we love to plan in advance. So that's one thing, that some of these plans may be right up to the time the team gets here. So I think that's probably the frustrating part, but we'll make it work. We got a pretty good plan in place. We are right now making sure we have all our surrounding resources as well as our mutual aid department. So we're working on that right now. Pretty excited and pretty optimistic at the same time, but we have a good plan in place.
It's probably tougher to plan for the unknown logistics with the team when you're waiting on the federal funds to come down.
Right.
Let's just say that if they weren't released in a timely manner and you had to work off of like a reimbursement type pattern. I've heard stuff from the Kansas City, Missouri Police Department and just other entities how it would be tough to work off like a reimbursement style payout system as it would be strapping the current funds that the city has. Was there any concern for you waiting for DHS to release these funds of like what this means for our police department if we're going to have to operate on a reimbursement style?
Right, and whether it's reimbursed up front, as long as you know you're getting compensated, is fine. One of the problems is that your mutual aid partners that you need, when there's not a clear reimbursement process or understanding where the funding is, then it's difficult to get mutual aid partners to be a part of it because, some of these smaller agencies, they don't have the extra funds to give resources and not know that they're going to get reimbursed. So now it takes that doubt out of the plan, out of the operations, so we can go ahead and move forward and make sure we know what specific police departments will be assisting KCK.
That counter unmanned drone technology, that was approved, right?
Yes,
okay.
yes.
And that was 3.7, if I remember right?
2.6, yeah, okay. But we've already started that process like in January. So in the next month or so, we should be getting the equipment and putting that in place, which is, I'm excited about that because Kansas City, Missouri and KCK will be the only two departments in the metro that will be fully covered on drone detection.
I mean, that's good just for the future, too.
Yeah, and when you when you look at what's going on in Iran, what's going on in Ukraine, where, drones are not always, when you look at the future, drones are not always going to be just used in a military sense. It can be used in a terrorism sense. So that is a big benefit, having that technology at our disposal.
If there's a ballpark for the dollar amount you can put on, out of that $59 million, the hope that KCK is going to be getting from that, what have conversations looked like around a specific number for that?
Yeah, we're getting some. It's not where we want it. I mean, I would say it's probably under the 5% range. But our big thing is that it will cover our overtime. We're still kind of working through the equipment because there is additional equipment that's needed, and so we want to ensure that some of that funding can help reimburse for equipment that we need to purchase and equipment that we've already purchased.
So around $5 million-ish is kind of what's being discussed, maybe a little bit more than that.
Little less.
A lot
less than that. So we're looking at somewhere the $1 to $2 million range, but we've been guaranteed that our expenses will be covered.
Gotcha. Is there anything else? Anything else at the top of your head?
I guess So the biggest question for people at home has been like, are we ready? Will we be ready for this event?
Oh yeah.
As in terms of from a police standpoint, do you think that we would be prepared for what is essentially the biggest event that's ever happened in the metro?
So funny you asked that. There's two terms there. Are you ready? Are you prepared? We're always prepared. We have a detailed plan in place. We've been working on this for 2 years, getting the resources in place. Are you ready? I think we're never ready for something we've never experienced, but we're prepared for it, if that makes sense.
Totally. It's kind of one of those where you don't know until it's like here. So that's why preparedness needs to be there. For that one, so, I guess another detail about like the funding you're expecting from the federal government and that split share. So it's going to be paying staff, some equipment and stuff you need. Is there anything else that goes into that equation, just for our reporting, essentially, what the funding's going to go to?
Yeah, that's mainly on, I know from our standpoint, on the safety and security, that's mainly what that's going to be funding. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I think the majority is going to the games and the Fan Fest, but also the base camps, the hotels that they're staying, just to make sure that they're fully secured. And a lot of the departments, unfortunately, we are going to have to eat some of the costs that's not covered, like the increase in operations as a result of World Cup. If it's not in that area, it's not available for reimbursement. So there is going to be some funding that is not going to be covered, or some expenses, let me say, that are not going to be covered, but we're working to minimize that as much as possible. But the actual events, the base camps, the hotels, the games, the Fan Fest will be covered and will be fully secured, and we will ensure that everyone has a great and safe experience with World Cup.
All right, everyone, welcome back. Well, your family pet may know how to sit and shake, but can it break a world record? One Kansas City dog is attempting to do just that. This is Java. She's a 4-year-old Labrador with a lot of smarts and dexterity. This weekend, she's attempting to break the Guinness World Record for the amount of clothespins she can put on a line in 1 minute. Pretty impressive, if you ask me. And I actually sat down with her and her owner, Lisa, to learn more about the training and what goes into having a dog attempt to break a world record. But before we do that, you guys, I wanted to show you this video of Java's training so you can see exactly what it looks like for a dog to attempt and successfully put clothespins on a line. You guys, I don't know if I could do this within a minute. I mean, she is talented and she's quick. Her owner, Lisa, works with her every day or every other day and gives her a lot of positive reinforcement. Now, Lisa says that out of the 15 service dogs she's had and trained over the years, Java is smartest by far. And take a look at that. She picks it up with her mouth and places it right on the line. So impressive. I'm really excited to see the outcome of this. And one of my favorite things is the celebration that Lisa and Java do together whenever she successfully puts a clothespin on the line with her mouth. Again, just such a cool dog and such a great owner. You guys, taking it over now to Java and Lisa to learn more. Well, Lisa, again, thanks so much for sitting down with me today on KCTV5 Plus to talk about your dog's unique talent and their Guinness World Record attempt. I want to start, Lisa. Could you tell me a little bit more about Java?
Java is a 4-year-old black Labrador retriever. She's obviously female. She's been in my life for the entire time. She was bred by Canine Companions for Independence, and I raised her with the potential of being a service dog for that organization. It was deemed that she was not a good fit to be a service dog within their program, so she was adopted back to me. And ever since then, she and I have been on a roll, earning a lot of trick dog titles and parkour titles, and we've done fast cat and rally and like nose work and everything. But her favorite is tricks, and when we were in 2023, she earned the International Trick Dog Champion for that, and then she's earned a lot of high-level AKC trick dog titles and competitions as well. Wow. It was through that we kind of discovered doing this, the clothespins on a wire, and she just really took to it. And so then I was like, where can we go from here? We've won so many other things and had a lot of other opportunities. And so I was like, how about a Guinness World Record? So we submitted the idea to them and they accepted it, had a few additional rules that they wanted us to incorporate, like I can't touch her, that kind of stuff. And so I have to toss the treats to her. That was a little bit different. And she also has to, because I was handing her the clips to be able to put on there, or the clothespins. I call them clips, but the clothespins. So she had to learn how to retrieve the clothespins herself and put them on there. So that took a few extra steps, but we're excited to get the opportunity to have this attempt, and I'm confident that she will get it.
Well, Lisa, thank you so much for walking me through that. Java certainly is so unique. What do you think makes her the most unique, though?
I think it is her drive and her ambition. She really loves to please, which is a typical lab trait and a service dog trait, but she doesn't get intimidated by anything, and she will just keep pursuing and pursuing and pursuing until she knows she gets it right. She's also incredibly intelligent. Of the 15 plus dogs that I've raised for service dogs, she is the smartest by far. And she's also really good at social learning. So usually if I'm going to teach her a skill or something like that, I just have to show her what I want, and then she's able to mimic it or do her best, and then we just fine tune it from there. It's not like I have to work super hard to get her to learn some of these super complex tasks.
Wow. She certainly is one of a kind. To think that she is the smartest by far out of the 15 service dogs that you've trained over the years. I was watching some videos of her picking up the clothespins and putting her on the line. I was wildly impressed. I struggle to get my dog to sit and shake, so to see a dog be able to do that, it's super amazing. And so could you tell me about the previous world record holder?
This is a brand new record that I submitted, and so they hadn't had it on the books before. They did stipulate that because it was a new record, that they think that she should be able to do 5. So she has to have a minimum of 5 clothespins on that line in order to even achieve that record. So it's not a guarantee. It's not like we can just do 1 and be a success. So I'm hoping that she can, it is my goal that she gets 7 to 9 so that we can blow that minimum out of the water.
What does the training look like with Java? I know you put a lot of hours into it, and surely it's paying off.
Oh yes, she loves this. We usually do training every single day. She loves it in the morning and at night. So we do different types of tricks, not always just this one, but she loves exercising her brain. So we will try, I don't know, 4 or 5 different tricks that we work on in the morning and again at night. Usually if we're working on a new trick, I will do it every other day because she does a lot of latent learning too during her sleep times and her nap times throughout the day. So she does a lot better if I skip a day in between learning something new. Otherwise, we're reviewing old skills, like pulling up a bucket from an elevated surface or doing jumps and different parkour skills and things like that. It allows me to keep her physically fit and mentally stimulated.
That's absolutely incredible. Now, I am curious, for the rest of us who don't have super smart and talented dogs, do you have any tips or tricks to help our dogs out?
I would say just try different things with your dog, experiment. Dogs learn in different ways. She definitely learns differently than most of my other dogs I've ever had with that social learning aspect. Once I clued into that, it made our trainings so much easier. And just try things. There are things that I have been doing with her that I never would have ever guessed. And a lot of times it's just being able to sit and watch her problem solve. Like I will set out maybe some boards or some toys or something like that and just see what she does with them and then find a way to incorporate that into an actual trick. So she's able to help with the learning process as well in engaging with toys and activities in her own way, and we build off of different tricks from that. So she has a lot of agency in that way.
That's great. Such amazing and helpful advice. I see your hoodie. It says, trust your dog. Definitely a helpful motto. Now, if and when Java does get the Guinness World Record, how are you going to celebrate with her?
Oh my gosh, her favorite thing in the world is to do wiggles and do what we call fly, which is her jumping up all 4 up in the air. And she also loves to like do spins and things like that. So she just has a real party spirit. So her name, Java, really suits her well with being fully caffeinated. And so I just really love that she's so engaged and has that party spirit to do things. So she might get a few extra kibbles too. We don't want to, you know.
That's great. Sounds like the perfect way to celebrate. And so when Java's not training to accomplish this world record, what is she doing on the day today?
She's usually napping on the couch or on her bed right beside me. She really also enjoys doing like nose work and parkour and anything that just gets out, taking walks and playing with friends and things like that. She's just a fantastic dog.
That's great. And so what do you want Kansas City to know about Java and her upcoming Guinness Book of World Records attempt?
I just want people of Kansas City to know that dogs can be a lot smarter than what we usually give them credit for. Sometimes we just think that they can just be our like couch buddies, and that's fantastic. I love that. But they can also do so much more. They can learn their colors. They can learn how to read. Um, they can have all sorts of different things that they can detect with their noses, and they can just engage with the whole world and get us out there in different ways that really push us and make us better as well.
Yeah. Fantastic message. I have a feeling, Lisa, that you're going to be inspiring some people to teach their dogs, even if they're older dogs, a few new tricks. And I can truly say that dogs make our lives so much better. It's so fun to see your dog Java living out to her full potential. Is there anything else that you would like to add?
I don't think so. She gives me a reason to get up every day, and what's better than that, right?
Yeah, that's amazing. I love it so much. And I think I can see her shadow in the background. It's good that she's been on the call as well. So, again, Lisa, thank you so much for chatting with me and looking forward to sharing you and your pup story here with KCTV5 viewers. Well, Lisa,